What's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Dear John Q&A. This series is where I take a detailed viewer question that you guys leave either in the comment section down below or else on Twitter using the hashtag DearJohnARTV, and then I answer it in video form if I feel it needs more context and explanation. Today we're going to be talking about emo music, emo in general, what is and isn't emo. There is a lot of mistruth out there, there's a lot of mislabeling and other discussions that I feel need to be had. It's been a long time coming and I got a great viewer question where I can discuss this in full. Before we go any further, I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Amino for sponsoring this video, more specifically the Emo Amino community. Amino is a collection of online apps that has a community for pretty much any fandom or any interest that you could possibly have under the sun. It obviously makes sense that I'm plugging Emo Amino today, so make sure to grab the app if you would like a great place to discuss not only emo music and maybe your favorite bands, but also emo fashion, especially this being fall and Halloween type times. This is the perfect time to either show off your regular day-to-day outfits or maybe even your emo themed Halloween costume. You can also share fan art, your own outfits, whatever you want to with a community of over 60,000 people. I am on the app, username ARTV. I also have an exclusive question for you guys on there, so make sure to go over to my profile, download Amino, and then search for emo, join the community, follow me ARTV. I've got a question up about what is and isn't emo to you and what defines emo music, so if you would like to be a part of that and also help support ARTV at the same time, then click the top link in the description down below. It's completely free to join Amino. Now it's time to get to today's viewer question, so thank you Weird Name Productions for the question. Let's see what you had to say. Dear John, I was talking with some friends a while back, and even now there still seems to be a continuing debate. That debate being what classifies as an emo artist and what makes a song emo. I would normally think of the emo label fitting with artists along the lines of MCR, early Paramore, and possibly even the Fever album, and only the Fever album by Panic at the Disco. People have tried to argue that Panic is still emo even now and will always classify as an emo artist, and have even gone as far as to say that 21 Pilots is emo just because a lot of their songs have dark lyrics. I've been trying to argue that those artists don't fit under the emo label, but for whatever reason, it's gotten harder for me to explain and I can't come up with a good concrete answer as to why, because it is turned into such a blanket term that some people even see as one that shouldn't be used at all. I hope you answer this question in the next episode of Dear John so that I can just link them to it and this can be settled once and for all. What is emo, what is not, and should the term even be used? Well, here you go, friend. Thank you for the awesome question, and here is your link to share away. Emo music started as an offshoot of post-hardcore and punk genres of the 80s and the early 90s, rising to popularity through bands like Weezer and Jimmy Eat World. What makes a band emo at the end of the day? Does it have to do more with the music or the lyrics? I definitely would say it's the lyrics, because the music, while it is concreted in rock, normally those are the roots that are there, and maybe you could point to a certain type of guitar tone or something like that. I would say that it's much more lyrical, and obviously emo music normally involves something that's kind of vulnerable, emotional, using kind of confessional, introspective lyrics to really personify the inner workings of one's mind, and the emo term gets used because obviously emotion is used to really just persuade the listener into feeling what they feel. I want to make it clear that bands are not emo because they have a certain quote-unquote look. For example, Panic at the Disco are not emo just because they wore eyeliner on their first album cycle. The fact that some people still consider them emo even present day is kind of appalling and a total slap to the face of actual emo bands like The Promise Ring, American Football, and the aforementioned Dashboard Confessional. Many bands like Dashboard started off as emo, and as they got older they started to shift their focus as they matured and maybe didn't feel like writing these songs that were so overtly emotional, or maybe they got to a better place in their life, and I would say that Dashboard is the perfect representation of that, but also bands like The Used, Taking Back Sunday, and many others like the Get Up Kids and more have kind of changed over time. Emo kids sprung up like wild poppies on the side of the road throughout the late 90s and the early 2000s, and while many of them approached the lifestyle with a mindset that fit the music, many were and still are kind of in it for the fashion that goes along with the genre. There's nothing wrong with subscribing to the idea that emo is a fashion look and a genre. I just feel that there needs to be a clear line drawn between the two. 2. Many people thought My Chemical Romance were an emo or goth rock band just because of the way they dressed, but the band and leader Gerard Way in particular could not stand that label being affixed to them. The emo tag also got applied to kids who had emotional troubles and also got latched onto those who struggled with things such as cutting, which is totally unfair. It's a sensitive issue that goes way deeper than simply just calling someone emo because of their emotional struggles. It's a complicated term because there's been a lot of misuse over the years that's fallen under the emo belt, but I suppose it is a bit open to interpretation as far as what exactly falls under the emo umbrella. Weezer have it in their DNA as their first two records flourished with emo undertones and overtones, and newer bands like Paramore and Basement have carried the emo torch into sculpting some of their material, mainly the early stuff though in Paramore's case. I've got the most accurate tool right at my fingertips that I'm going to share with you guys how to determine which bands are emo and which ones are not. There is a site that is actually called Is This Band Emo? And as I type it in right here, I'm already right off the bat, you see top 10 best emo bands of all time from Watch Mojo and MCR are in the thumbnail, of course. Before we even get into the search to see which bands are and are not emo, I do want to say that I understand that many bands have emo undertones to them, or else they have parts of them that are emo. While I do not think that My Chemical Romance, 21 Pilots, Fall Out Boy, or anything like that are actual emo bands, I do feel like, especially in some of their early material, it's pretty much undeniable that they have either emo influence or else some of it is in a little bit of their music. It's in their DNA at some point, even though they might not be emo bands. IsThisEmo.com is booted up now, the search bar is ready for us, let's dive in. We'll start off with something easy that I know will come up, at least I hope it will. The Promise Ring. Is this band emo? Promise Ring is an emo band. It's the Promise Ring. It's as simple as this. Panic at the Disco. Panic at the Disco is not an emo band. It's the quote-unquote emo face for a night band. Oh my god, I couldn't agree more. Panic at the Disco are not an emo band as much as their fans are going to scream at you that there's some sort of emo, yeemo, yeet, 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 whatever annoying shit they're gonna throw in your face. It is not the case. Panic have not ever been an emo band, despite possibly having some emo undertones to their lyrics. Of course, you could say that about any sad song ever, but that doesn't mean that artists like Sadie and Adele are emo. Let's look actually, is Adele emo? Adele is not an emo band, but Adele, we love you, you go girl, that is perfect. Anthony Fantano. Anthony Fantano is not an emo band. Damn. My Chemical Romance. My Chemical Romance is not an emo band. Emo nights are built off of the cliches from this band, both bad and good. And I can definitely agree with that. Basement. Basement is an emo band. See, I told y'all. Jimmy Eat World. Jimmy Eat World is an emo band. See, it's as easy as this, guys. Here's one that could be a divider. Let's try Weezer. Weezer is not an emo band. Say it ain't so. See, I feel like maybe this one comes up as no, because like most of their stuff isn't, but their early stuff was. Let's try Paramore too. Paramore. Paramore is not an emo band. I can feel the pressure of everyone thinking they're emo. At the end of the day, I really feel like emo is used like a clickbait term for so many like content creators and not necessarily musicians. I don't feel like there's a ton out there that really mislabel themselves, but a lot of people just throw it up and they're just like, oh, I'm emo because I cry sometimes, or I'm emo because I know I can relate to my viewers. And I think that's bullshit. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I think that emo definitely can be a fashion statement and it's also a musical statement, but I think that there's so many people out there that have the wrong idea about what emo actually is. This is of course all just my take on things, so I would love to know what you guys think. Sound off down below, or you can actually join the discussion directly with me over on Amino. Remember to follow me at ARTV over there once you sign up for Emo Amino at the top link down below. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you to Weird Name Productions for that amazing question. If you would like to leave a detailed question down below, then you could be featured in a future episode of Dear John. To catch up on the entire Dear John series, then tap this annotation here, or tap here for another recent video. Socials are in the description, and I'll see you soon for more right here on ARTV.